Hey everybody, I'm DR Nosy, and I'm here today to do sort of a quick review on something you may or may not have heard about. It's called the 3D bumper protection for the Oculus Quest touch controllers. This was purchased on Esty, esty.com. This is sort of what they look like. So the idea behind these is sort of to protect your controller from bangs if you bump your controller into something. Um, and so I used them for roughly a week to kind of form an opinion on them. There's a couple other products out there that I hope to try later on. So what is my opinions on these? Well, there's some good and there's some bad to them. They're not all bad and they're not all good. So the first thing that I'll talk about is if you use grips on your touch controllers, such as the AMVR touch controller grips that I have on here right now. These are really good grips because they allow me, when I'm in VR, to open up my hand completely. They add some bulk to the touch controllers themselves so that they don't feel so small in my hand. So I almost feel like I have to have a grip like this or similar to this or this on my hand when I'm using my touch controllers. And I can't really find anything that I would be willing to trade that for. It has to meet those two things, right, for me to be able to use a grip. So that being said, how does this work with a grip on your touch controller? Um, Not as well as I would have hoped. I was hoping that maybe they had took that into account. Maybe it would have like a little notch or something on there, but it don't. And putting it on was more tedious than what I had hoped for. So it's if you don't use these grips or any grips at all, this might actually be a lot. It's something that you might be more in favor of. But basically, it's not hard to put on. You literally just sort of take this, it's got an opening, and you just sort of slide it into place on your controller. Now, the problem that I run into with the grip here is that it does not want to actually go down into the control the over the controller, the touch controller all the way, because of I can't get in the camera there because of this little Velcro piece here. And so what I found is that by messing and kind of playing with it a little bit, that if I play with it enough and I make this little piece here that wraps around, there we go, just tight enough, I am able to sort of squeeze it over the edge, but it's not done easily. But you can do it. So it's sort of squeezed over it now, the best that I can get it there. And it looks really cool. I do like the color on it, and it kind of makes it look a little bit more cool than just a standard controller. I do feel that this would add some additional protection to the touch controller if I slammed it into something. But on the downsides to it, and this is kind of a biggie for me, really, is probably the biggest downside, is that if you basically are playing a game and you're swinging your controller around, a lot of times, especially if you bump something, which is the main thing it's made to prevent against, this turns just a little bit. It don't have to even turn a lot, but if it turns just a little bit, what happens is you basically lose your tracking when you're in Oculus Quest. And your hand just kind of floats out and floats out. And so I was playing a game and I couldn't figure out exactly why I was losing my tracking. I took everything off, changed out my batteries, put my batteries back in, and I was still losing tracking. I was getting really frustrated. I cleaned the sensors on my Quest, thinking maybe they had something on them. I was still losing my tracking. And then it just hit me like a ton of bricks what the problem was. It was this thing right here had gotten turned, and the sensors in the controller could no longer, I guess, be read by the Oculus Quest. So, it has an arrow on the back here, and that has to perfectly align basically with that button. So once you have it perfectly aligned, your tracking is completely fine. But if that ends up getting shifted, whether it be due to wearing it with a grip or whether it's due to actually bumping it on something, if this gets turned, and a lot of times I'm laying down, watching a movie in big screen, or, I might put my controllers down and grab them. If it bumps something and it turns, you're going to lose tracking. So be aware of that. It may be more of an issue or not an issue at all for other people. It's just something to be aware of. Overall, it is a good product. I do like it. But there are some other products on the market. I think one coming out is called the Hardcore. I'm hoping to get my hands on one of those to review for you guys. But this is a fairly good product. I really think they need to fix two things, and it would be an awesome product. Like that, I would be a lot more invested in. Would be they need to make it so that it works a little bit better with the grips, especially the AMVR, because they're so popular. So, maybe just like a small notch or something right there so that it could be able to fit over this a little bit better. And then the second thing, again, I was talking about the whole this turning and causing problems. So I with tracking, so I don't know what the solution for that would be. Maybe a small piece of Velcro on the inside and one on the controller or something maybe to help it keep in place. Maybe if I wasn't using the grips, maybe it wouldn't be turning at all. I don't know. I didn't try it that way. But those would be my only two complaints. They have multiple different colors. I did the Beat Saber colors of the right hand red and the left hand blue. You can get them in like lime green. You can get them in both red or blue and different colors. So just wanted to do a quick review on this. They look awesome and I do like them, but they do have some flaws. So I probably won't be using them long term anymore due to the flaws. My AMVR grips come first before everything else. And like, yeah, I'm not necessarily completely sold on the AMVR grips. There are other grips out there, like the Mammoth grips and whatnot, that, would be just as suitable. But they've got, any grip that you use needs to have basically a couple functionalities. You need to be able to open up your hand, let it go, like for throwing things in VR, give it a little bit more bulk than what's on the original touch controller. And I think a lot of people use the grips for that reason. So I think for a product like this, it needs to accommodate, if you have a grip on your controller. So that is pretty much it, guys. I hope that you guys found this useful. Here's another close-up for you of these. If you did find this useful and you want to get more of my future videos, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay safe and keep on questing, and I will catch you guys around.